Hi guys, my name's Seb Tudor, I'm the man on the Silver Mountain and welcome back to Paladins. I figured I'd come back and play this because there are a couple of things that have come out about Paladins and people complaining about it recently. And firstly, I wanted to talk about those things and then we'll just get in, play a couple of games. But ultimately, lots of people have been complaining that some of the changes to some of the more economic areas of Paladins, the kind of model behind it, have made it pay to win. And firstly, that's bollocks. It seems to be coming from people who either don't really understand the game and the way that they've introduced this. It seems to come from people who are purely looking for something wrong with Paladins in favour of other to put more favourable light on other games. And so on and so forth. When at the moment I feel like Paladins is one of the best options for a hero shooter because it has the accessibility that something like Overwatch would have, but also the an added level of depth and complexity, making competitive play more interesting and making a kind of move towards maybe something more like TF2, where your gear and your build actually informs more of kind of the way that you can specialize, the way that you can tune your character to play the way you want it to play, instead of otherwise. And so it's not just the rock, paper, scissors kind of thing that you get with Overwatch. And so looking at the economic model, because this is the thing that people have been complaining about, let's go and take a look in loot chests, because this is where it comes from. Ultimately, people have been complaining because they're saying it's pay to win, and they're saying that because now chests have been changed so that you can now get them with both the gems and gold from matches, but for unlocking cards and unlocking things like that for champions. So let's jump into Barrack. Then I've got one missing for Barrack here apparently, but it now requires a new currency that you only get from chests and from duplicates. More prominently, duplicates from chests, rather. And so, here's the thing. Gaining access to those cards faster is hardly an issue, considering that there is, in theory, all of those things are balanced and granted. Some of them still need tweaks. Some of the new heroes have things that still need to be reviewed, and so on and so forth. And obviously, they've added new systems in with this with OB44 as well, which means that those things are going to be reviewed as they move forward anyway. But having access to those cards earlier rather than later doesn't make all that much of a difference, especially when you're just playing in a kind of casual fashion. Because what it comes down to is there is still balance, you are still able to play the hero, it's not all that much of a problem. And considering as well that you still need to acquire those heroes as you go along, it's you get to choose and pick and then see where you go. But so you've got like you've got this one chest which contains cards, golds, cosmetics, and they're kind of the less substantial cosmetics, the less premium ones. But then in regards to everything else, it's cards and gold, which means also duplicate cards and things will get you the essence stuff to purchase your own cards. But then the other chests, here you've got, as you can see there, it's mostly just cosmetics. More cosmetics, more cosmetics. Oh yeah, and more cosmetics. In which case, the only one that's giving you any advantage is this one. And now, if you play the game, if you are actually willing to invest time in the game, you can still acquire these. However, if you don't have that much time to put into the game, then you can still acquire them if you have surplus of money. And if you play the game just enough to get to level up as you go along, then you still get them. So they've opened it up so that people can gain those chests far more regularly to unlock far more things for your hero as you go along, considering that they've put these new cards in that are quite costly. But as you can see, you've also got these other cards that are, quite frankly, not particularly expensive at all. There's a substantial kind of impact on the community, sure, because you're going to have people who are chasing wins for gold to unlock more and to gain access to things. And yeah, sometimes if you can buy 50 chests, then yeah, you'll excel faster. You'll gain all of those things more quickly. But that doesn't stop anyone else from not getting them, or from getting them, and it doesn't prevent the skill level in the game from being the main deciding factor. It doesn't matter whether or not, I don't know, if you're Barrack here, and as I've only got the one because it's the one that I want to use. But for example, these other ones enhancing his blunderbuss or enhancing his turrets, or keeping his barricade up for longer with extra health, it's a case of, well, at the moment, the one that you get given straight out the gate is one that will generally keep you alive longer, and for a character like this, that's going to be helpful. The others allow you to tune in slightly different directions, but not to any vast extent that you aren't still playing that character. It's far less of an issue that people are making out, but again, it seems to be a case that people are suggesting that Paladins has kind of is trying to chase players away, or that this is in some way a negative move on their part, when actually it allows a little bit more freedom, because you can actually, I could save up 2,500 gold. That's a couple of matches, and then I can quite happily just buy myself a chest and see what I get. And if it's all duplicates, because I've got a fair number of the cards and things already, then that just means that I get essence that allows me to then go and take a look at the cards that I don't already have. And as said, some of these cards, I think, yeah, the most expensive of these cards is 5,000, unless you're going for these elite kind of main mechanic changing cards, where they're 12,000, and then everything else is 1,250, 500. It doesn't really, they're not huge prices considering the amount of essence that you get back. When they first launched, I came into the game. In fact, let's get into a game, shall we? Yeah, Siege only. But yeah, when I came back to the game after OB44 launched, and I messed around with some of these other characters, and I saw how it was working. At that time, I had been gifted 108,000 just because of the level that I was at already. And as a result, who should we go for? Well, someone's already taken tank. Should we go healer? Someone's taken another tank. Someone's taken a healer. All right, I'll go Drogos then. But yeah, so far we've got a huge amount that was given to me just on levels to begin with, and granted, someone that was starting the game fresh or someone who was still lower level wouldn't have had as much, but then I spent all of that. I went from 108,000 essence down to 0 in no time. But then I played for 2 evenings last week. I played one evening with Hannah and I played one evening by myself, and I got back up to 180 something thousand that, again, I've spent most of. I've only got 5,000 left, but I spent most of that just straight off, and it hasn't been an issue. And I've not played Drogos in a while, so this might not go so well, but hey ho. What should we do? Direct flight speed, extra. So do we want to be more dodge worthy, or do we want to hit harder? I think we'll hit harder. Who we got on the other team? We don't have a tank, but we've got 2 healers, so we want to cauterize. Cool. But yeah, no, it's it seems to be people who either don't really play the game all that much, haven't played it at all, listening to people complaining about nothing, and you know, as a result, you've got a lot of oh, down I go. Oh well. But yeah, it's a case of not having. Oh, Kinessa's just sat there. That's nice. But yeah, it's a case of. But yeah, it's a case of kind of the normal internet kind of misjudgment and dislike over very little. But yeah, it's a kind of case whereby it shouldn't really, you know, there shouldn't be that much of an issue, I feel. But this is not going well. It probably doesn't help, but I'm trying to talk to you guys more about the situation with the game and some of the dislike and the complaints about it, but there we go. That's more like it.
I am whole again.
Yep. Oh, crap. Oh, well.
15 seconds remaining. Together, we are strong. 10, 9, 8,
I'll remember.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Your time will not be stopped.
Time to take charge.
Oh. Yay. Okay, that was a tough one. Okay, we could do this. We can make this work. After all the complaints, after all the concerns, we can do this. I guess. I hope. But yeah, no, it's again. There's usually a lot of like crap on the internet, and this is part of it. Unfortunately, you know, you've got a lot of people who just don't. There's a lot of knee-jerk reactions, and it doesn't really help anybody. I mean, maybe high res could have done more to suggest kind of how this is supposed to work.
Give them hell.
They just can't stay away from me.
But how?
Where is he? Oh, getting a little bit of lag on kills. I'm not quite sure why that is. But
Never done.
I am whole again.
down I go. But I can get this, which is important, and I can get that, which is important.
Ticking.
Multi-ults. But it didn't work. I don't know if that's because people aren't on the payload, or if that's... Up, skied. Okay, but yeah, it's... I'm now getting too into the game. We've got, like,
Together, we are strong.
game communities that just aren't willing to kind of work with each other, give each other the benefit of the doubt kind of thing. Yeah, that's a bit of a problem. There you go. Right.
15 seconds remaining. 8, 7, 6, 5,
Time to take charge.
3, 2.
We won. Fuck you. Okay. Right. What else do we need?
Group up.
Yeah. Let's do that. Right. But anyway, the game otherwise though, I think it's improved. We've got more maps. They're adding new modes. They've added a kind of PvP cooperative mode and things like that. You know, it's a helpful, kind of useful
Okay.
set of things. But you know, the one issue that Paladins seems to have is more the fact that it's kind of overshadowed by the fact it came out after Overwatch, even though it had been in development for a long time. And you know, even with some of the new heroes that have come out for Overwatch, you know, you can kind of see where you can kind of see where you know, several tropes, means by which to work and stuff like that, you know, they're all being kind of carried together, and so it's not a case of someone stealing someone else's idea. It's a case of different levels of complexity in a game. It doesn't
Together,
make
we are strong.
any like better or worse necessarily. It just means that it just means that you've got a certain element of
Attack.
just a certain element of difference in the game, which is good. You know, you've got Overwatch, which is very much a simple and accessible game, whereby you've got it's almost baby's first hero shooter, considering you've got play the game. Which one was this? I'm level 9 with Drogos. I thought I was only level 6. I could have sworn it said 6 at the beginning, didn't it? I mean, I don't mind being level 9. If anything, that just makes me like prettier. But how do we do? Highest damage on the team, that's what counts. Highest kills, yeah, okay, we didn't do too badly. We did better than everyone else on eliminations at least, and like I'm sat up in the top half of, or I'm sat in the middle of our team in terms of actual objective time, but I beat half their team as well, so that worked out. That was good. But yeah, it's a case of this game is improving. You've got new heroes that are coming out that are, some of them quite similar to characters from other games, but then again, it's because they're all using the same tropes. You know, they're using the same mechanical tropes. Where you've got Roadhog and Makoa, for instance, that are very similar because they're both kind of a pull in and take out kind of character. You know, they have a very similar set of mechanics because, rather unsurprisingly, in a first-person shooter, you've got very similar controls and so on and so forth. It's just that these guys... Oh, I got a chest... Well, here you go. I got a chest for leveling up a hero. I didn't even get a chest for leveling up anything else. Hold on. No, he's 6. It shouldn't have said 9. He's 6. But for doing that, I got a chest. So let's see what we got. Well, I wanted that for him, so we got that, and then we got a couple of things that I hadn't already got. You know, not that I'll probably use either of these necessarily, but it's cool stuff. It's a case of, you know, and that one match gave me more than half of the gold that I needed for a chest. So what, maybe 2 or 3 matches at a time gets you a chest, you know, which is the same as if you were playing arcade mode in Overwatch, apart from I can do this as many times as I like depending on how much time I've got, instead of only being limited to what I think is 9 chests from arcade mode for wins and things like that. So, you know, I don't see where all the issues and the hatred come from, apart from the fact that early on people were basically saying that this was an Overwatch rip-off, and then that negativity has just followed through. But anyway, how long have we've been recording so far? I've been recording for 20 minutes. Do you know what? I'm going to jump into a bot game, and I'm just gonna take a look at one of the newer heroes, Maeve or Torvald or something like that. Someone else has taken Maeve, so we'll take Torvald in his new swanky brown robe, because originally he comes in the blue, but I felt he looked better as a proper monk, so we'll give him the brown. But yeah, and this guy's on the tankier side. He's a, I don't know, he's if I was going to take from other things to suggest what he is, I would say he's kind of like the Pyro from TF2, or he's like Symmetra, or mixed with kind of Zarya from Overwatch, or something like that. You know, he's very much a kind of beam projecting shield guy, and he's got some nice quirks to him. So we'll take a look, and we'll hopefully not lose to bots, considering we just had a bit of a tougher fight against people.
Overloading spatial regulators. Elevating runic databases. This should do.
Extra protection. Oh no, sorry. Protection that grants extra damage. Or recharge. Who are we up against? We've got Barrack and... Oh no, we're going to want that. Because the shield recharge also allows me... Take Wrecker so I can carve through their shields. But no, the extra damage also allows me... Or the extra... time on recharge also allows me to gain more shields, but it also means that I can potentially drain more shields from them too. Up to 2,000 each, I think.
2, 1. Let the battle begin.
Although, one thing I've noticed, I'm still there's a new map in the game, and I'm not seeing it all that much.
Enemies are firing on me.
Okay, this is the one problem with this character. One problem with this character is that he's slow and he's got quite a short range. I'm on fire. Not in a good way, but yeah, and he's quite slow as well. So if people decide to run away from him, then you know he's kind of screwed. He's very much a kind of a tank killer, which works quite well. You know, he's able to chew through shields, and he's able to survive for a long time. And as a result, he's a pretty substantial asset. Oh, fall over and die. There you go. To bring the shield back up. So he's got that, which is kind of cool. It's a huge knockback. The number of times I've either been knocked off the map or been like screwed in other means by that ability is just huge. Someone take him out, please. I can't deal with that one. Take out the shield there and take him out. Grover, I like you very much. You are my friend. Very much an attendant to the House Grover, but no, sorry. Where is he? Okay, apparently he just failed to connect with that somehow. Take Barrack out. There you go. And then Drogoz, you got too close, friends.
Seconds remaining.
Yeah, I quite like Torvald as a tank. He's maybe not my favourite tank to play, but you know, he's definitely up there on my list of characters that I quite enjoy. I mean, I tend to quite enjoy the characters that require maybe a little bit more capacity for aiming, but you know, otherwise he works out quite well, and quite enjoy the way that he works. So yeah, we could take some extra speed, but I think what we might do is take that so that his thing builds faster. We'll take, yeah, weapon shots, take that, and then we'll take that. Now, should we burn through shields faster, or get that to... I think because of the kind of map we're on, we'll burn through shields faster. He's such an excitable little bit. Well, I say little. He's for an elf, he's kind of huge.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Organic transportation? How trivial.
Apparently horses are trivial. Who knew? Oh, they're coming down from the top.
Firing on me! 5 in a row.
Oh. Drogo's
Will
still
not
back.
die. Not yet.
Can I take them all? No, not yet. It's fine.
Where we're going, we don't need horses.
Okay, if you say so.
I have been played.
I'm gonna steal your shield. Thank you.
They just can't stay away from me.
So he's got another ability, which is a kind of silence and disarm, but it doesn't seem to do what it's supposed to do from what I can tell all the time. Like, I would have thought a silence and a disarm would prevent abilities and things from functioning, but apparently that's not the way that it really functions. There you go.
Don't push your luck.
Enemies are firing on me.
We put our heads together.
It's working. It's working.
Oh dear. I have been played.
You respawn quickly. But yeah, it's like I've been quite enjoying this guy. There we go, that's another one. I'll take your shield. Thank you. Bye bye bye. I'm sorry, Grover. There we go. So it's yeah. Whenever I use my shield recharge, I get to steal Fernando's shield, break it down 200 points per tick, which is, you know, quite nice.
I will not die. Not yet, amigo. 6, 5, 4.
It's like he's a little bit sat in support, a little bit sat elsewhere. But yeah, it's quite a lot of fun. Okay, let's take that this time. People messing around with the sprays. So Maeve, this is one of the other new ones. She's I've had to describe her in another way. She's kind of Genji-like, you know, or like the scout from TF2. She's got double jump. She's quick. She's a little bit of a brawling flanker instead of someone like Androxus here who can sit a little bit further back.
4, 3, 2.
So you know, she's a lot of fun as well. But yeah, once this match finishes, I think I'll call it quits for the time being. Take that shield away.
Oh dear. I am in flames. It's working.
Get off my point. There you go, that's another one. Let's just get rid of that shield, shall we? There you go, and then the others can take out the rest. I tried to get Sky with that, but she was already off and away.
Victory.
There we go.
In the wrong place.
Sorted. Let's see how we did. You know, I've not played Torvald all that much. So, as much as I have found him fun to play, I'm usually sat playing
Killing his team.
one of the other characters that you want.
10, 9, 8, 7, double 6. Stop the payload.
Well done, Androxus. So how did we do? Cool. Most objective time. 4 goals. Did I get most eliminations? Really? Oh, I got joint best with Cassie there. Okay. That Cassie did pretty well. Yeah, no, I'm happy with that. I did my job. But anyway, guys, that's the end of that one. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the video tomorrow. Anyway, take care. Thank you very much. Bye. Thank you very much for watching, guys. If you found this at all entertaining, then please drop me a like and subscribe for more. And I'll see you in the video tomorrow. Take care.